why don't we just get right to it? Why don't you tell us, introduce yourself, who you are, what your role is, and how long you've been at SDI?
All right. So my name's Anthony Marquina. I've been with SDI since September of 2018. I've been only on this site, the Ascend Chocolate Bayou site here in Alvin, Texas. I started at this as the assistant site manager. Um, I worked for a gentleman named Wayne Carroll, a very good guy. But I had just months prior, I had just been my position at my previous job, which I've been there for 13 years, was done away with. So I took it as an opportunity to venture out into new areas, and I found SDI. And so I've been here since 2018. I am now the site manager here. When Wayne left, I was promoted. So just going through it day by day.
Well, I mean, so what was it about SDI that attracted you to the company?
Well, the last 13 years, so my previous employer, I was there for 13 years, and they were a huge retail. Actually, I worked for Walmart, so now we do business with them.
Right.
But they were huge retail, as you know, and they were good. They helped me become a manager and helped me become a great manager. But with retail, especially with somebody that big, it really limits your time with your family. They ask a lot of you because it is so busy. And so when they did away with my position, I took an opportunity to venture out to maybe get a bit more work-life balance. And because I have three kids and I missed out a lot. So I was trying to regain that. And so one of the first things I did is when I looked out is maybe not go into retail. And I was just looking on, I believe it was Indeed, and I saw SDI. They needed an assistant site manager at somewhere in Alvin, which I live in Alvin. So I was like,
Oh, okay.
I'll give it a try. And when I did my interviews, first I did it with the site manager, and then I spoke to Sheila. No, I believe it was Miss Melanie Sims,
Hmm.
and everything that SDI was saying was fantastic. The the work to life ratio seemed amazing. They told me this thing that people actually worked from like 7 to 4, and then that was it, and then they could go home. And I wasn't used to that. I thought that I was like, really? And so what about weekends? They're like only emergencies. And there was the biggest running joke in my family is that when I got on to SDI, that it was the first Thanksgiving that I spent with my family in 13 years.
My
So
goodness.
that's really what got me into it. And the second thing was that this was a completely different environment, a completely different thing, and it gave me an opportunity to grow. And when I came aboard, one of the things that I told everybody, including Wayne Carroll, my ex-boss at the time, and Chuck Daughtry, that I want to grow. I want to not just stay where I'm at. I want to get better. I've always been better. When I started at Walmart, I was a cashier. When I was done, I was about to get my own store. So I wanted to be the same thing here, and I wanted to grow. And I told Wayne that in 2 years I was going to take his job. I said it jokingly. I didn't know that I was right. I, I told Chuck that in 4 years I take his. We'll see how right I am with that one. So, but that was really it. Is the being able to work, grow, but at the same time enjoy my life.
That's great. I mean, just you saying how it's the first Thanksgiving you spent with your family. It's just so like it it really does make me feel good about what we're doing, that you can have that work life balance. So that's awesome. I mean, was that your biggest surprise coming here, and what's been the biggest surprise? And
That I knew that coming in, so I was excited about it. But when I got here, I think the biggest surprise I had was the environment, because and the support, because like I said, this was something completely different. I do have warehousing experience, I do, but it was mainly management experience that brought FBI, and FBI took me in. So I had a lot to learn, and between HR and between not only my boss but his boss, everybody was willing to let me grow and to push me to get better and better, at the same time giving me the tools I needed to work. There was hiccups, of course. There's always hiccups, and there's always issues, but it was never it's your fault. It was all right. What was wrong? What's wrong? What can we do to fix it? How can we move forward? And I think that's the biggest thing is let's get this fixed. And what can we do next time so this doesn't happen? So much more problem solving.
Yeah.
And that's great because the SDI makes it known that they're still growing and they will always still be growing and they're growing with you. So it's not the rules in place and follow those rules. It's, hey, we understand that everything is different. My site, and you can ask everybody around, my site is a completely different site than any other site that's here.
It's true.
So we have to grow, and they let us instead of being so rigid that it makes it impossible to grow.
You mentioned about, being solution oriented, problem solving, being able to learn and make mistakes and then grow from them. And at headquarters, we have these huge like erasers that we have on the wall that you can't actually take them down and erase anything with them, but with quotes about making mistakes and how that's how innovation happens. So that's great to hear that kind of mindset has kind of permeated. Like that's how you learn, is by making mistakes. So yeah, that's great to hear. I mean, so you got promoted during the pandemic, and that this whole year has been so strange. As you reflect on the pandemic, have you learned anything that you could share?
Flexibility, and I think that goes, needless to say, everybody says it, but it's just so true. You can't Everything that we knew that we held to be true before the pandemic changed drastically. And so we've all had to look at, especially, and even on sites. I know SDI, y'all closed headquarters, and we had to figure out how to work not at headquarters within 24 hours. Well, on the site, we had other issues, and we had to learn to be flexible. And then that went straight from management, but our people as well. We have all a diverse group of people, and so we had to be flexible and understand everybody's needs. During the pandemic, we had an associate that was pregnant, so we were considered essential workers. We had to be on site, but she had her needs, and
Hmm.
so we did what we could to make sure that she was able to work at home, and so it kind of puts everything into perspective to where we have things that we have to do, but at the same time, the I guess Corona made us understand that we are all humans and we all have to deal with different things. And if you're not flexible to that, then you're gonna fail.
And in during the pandemic, like all you have is stress. So it's so nice that you guys were able to pull together to help her. That's awesome. So, I mean, aside from that, have there been any, when you think about the last few years that you've been here, have there been any difficult challenges that you've faced, and how have you overcome them?
One of the big things we have is outages and turnarounds. The first one will always kind of stick in my mind because it was right after I came here, and it was literally like we had the first meeting about it 3 days. On my third day, I was going to a turnaround meeting with all the site leadership, and I'd barely come to understand what the SDI was doing, and I was supposed to present this to all the site leadership what we're going to do in this turnaround. I was like, this is going to be great. But that kind of it went well because I don't like to be unprepared, so I was able to talk about it. But that turnaround was not rough at all. It was actually a good turnaround, but it it was the first of many, and it's probably the roughest just because you don't know what to expect. And without knowing what to expect, you don't know how to prepare for it. Wayne had also been fairly new, so we were kind of working our way with it together. So it was good. At the end of the day, SDI, nobody had any complaints. And sometimes in a site like this, if they can't complain, then that's them telling you you did a good job.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. It's when they're really vocal that you got to worry,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
What's something that you're really proud of that you've accomplished here at SDI?
Well, that's the easy answer to that is me getting promoted to site manager. Because, like I said, I wanted to grow, and I, I, I'm starting to do it. And I'm continuing to do it, getting better and better. One of the smaller things we did is when I came aboard, we had our warehouse. I walked it. I didn't like the feel. I didn't like the way it looked. I thought it was a little too unorganized. And um, like I said, with the whole flexibility thing, I was given full reign. So, okay, so how would you fix it? How would you do it? And so I did it. And we fixed it up. We changed steel upon steel and materials everywhere. And but by the end of it, anybody that came to our site, they were like, "This is the same. This is the same stuff. Where's the big pile of valves?" Like, no, no, the valves are over here, all nice lined up, and you can tell what you got to get. And so I think that was one of my better accomplishments because that was one of those times where the client came in. They were like, "This looks really good." I
Nice.
think that's probably the only compliment I got from somebody here. And then, like I said, after that, it's just no complaints. But this sounds like, man, it looks fantastic in here. So I was like, man. So,
That is
but definitely
great.
that one will always stick to my head. But for sure, getting promoted, like I said, being able to work and work and work, and when this position became available, of course they had to do everything they had to do. But when my boss Chuck, he's like, man, it's a no-brainer. You definitely deserve it, and you deserve it, and we're gonna do what we got to do. For me getting it and him telling me that was fantastic.
Nice. And it's so nice when you get to see how your work impacts the customer directly. So having the customer come in and tell you that that the warehouse looked great, the storerooms look great. That's huge. I mean, and that's why we're here is to make their lives easier. So, and especially Ascend. I mean, that's where you are, right, in Chocolate
Yep.
Bayou.
Hmm.
Ascend. I mean, they're essential to infrastructure in terms of the specialty chemicals that they make for the nylon 6,6. But then also they pivoted their business model to create antimicrobial masks. And so, what you're doing in the storeroom and on the site to help them be able to pivot and fulfill a need is tremendous. I mean, it's great work. I mean, you should be really proud.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any other ways that you know what you're doing aside from the customer coming in that it's really making an impact for them?
Yeah. There's a lot of people here that really trust us. We're here at stores at SDI, and so when there's an issue, when there's a problem, when there's problem material related, they come straight to either me or Jason Hunting, our new assistant site manager, and they're like, "Hey, we need help. Hey, I need your help. Hey, can you help me out?" And like it's those moments that they're hard because you got to figure out what to do to help out the customer. But when they come to you and they're not, hollering and screaming that something went wrong, but they're, hey, look, something's gonna go wrong. I need your help to fix it. I mean, I need your help to make it so I don't have to fix it.
Right.
Those are the moments that I really like because it's them coming to us and not in a desperate need, but coming to us because they trust us.
Hmm.
Coming to me and Jason here, like, hey guys, I know you can help me out with this. And those are the moments that really give me pride. It's just knowing that they know that and when push comes to shove, they can come here and they have a good chance of getting what they need, or at least answers.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, and that's one of our core values is finding solutions and helping our customers find answers. So that's great that you're living it every day. Would you say that's being able to help them like that is the most rewarding part of your job, or is there?
I think that probably would be when we solve an issue or we do something that fixes something and we know we save them thousands if not millions of dollars. That's always a good feeling. We when they need something and we know that for every hour they're down, they're losing money, and then we're able to get it here an hour quicker, a day quicker, and just man, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. That's one of those moments where it's not bad. It's good.